Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. It's always a pleasure to have you here with us. Today, we're stepping into a whirlwind that's been stirring up timelines, group chats, and late-night conversations across the entertainment world. We're talking about the buzz around Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu, a story that has quietly simmered beneath the surface and then, all at once, felt like it boiled over. If you've been sensing a shift, catching subtle hints, or just wondering whether there was more to their connection than professionalism and old co-star chemistry, you're not alone. Sit tight, because we're unpacking the clues, the near confirmations, and the emotional undercurrent that suddenly has everyone watching a little closer. Before we dive into the thick of it, a quick reminder, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. It helps us continue bringing you thoughtful, respectful entertainment deep dives, and you won't miss a beat of what's unfolding. Let's get right to the point, because this wave of speculation didn't appear out of nowhere. For quite some time, the conversation around Barış and Elçin lingered in a gray area: warm reunions at public events, a carefully shared photo here and there, the kind of laughter that feels like inside knowledge. Anyone who followed them since their early on-screen partnership knows their dynamic has always been lightning in a bottle. But while that spark can be perfectly innocent, many fans began to suspect there was more beneath the surface. In the public eye, gestures that might go unnoticed between private people become puzzle pieces for a curious audience. And in this case, the pieces started to fit. Here's what made it feel different. There were those appearances where they seemed particularly at ease. Not just cordial or nostalgic, but comfortable in a way that invites the word familiar. The eyes do that talking, that word sidestep. A quick brush of hands captured by an eager camera lens. A seemingly random conversation topic that keeps weaving through separate interviews. Meanwhile, social media detectives did what they do best. They lined up photo timestamps, location tags that almost matched, outfits that looked like twin interpretations of the same mood. A jacket appearing twice in different contexts. The same coffee spot and sea hangar visited one day apart. Two sunrises shared from angles suggesting the same waterside walkway. Was it coincidence? Was it planned privacy? Or was it the inevitable trail of two public figures leading separate public lives while quietly sharing a private thread? And then came the shift. That turning point where speculation started to feel like substance. Depending on who you ask, the inciting moment differs. Some say it was a photograph that surfaced from a boutique hotel along the Aegean coast. Not an overt portrait, but a fleeting capture of silhouettes in the lobby, a profile that looked unmistakably like his, a posture that echoed hers, and a moment of shared laughter that didn't need words. Others point to an interview where a slip of language suggested a "we" where I might have been expected. A casual remark about a habit picked up from someone close. A knowing smile that trailed off into silence. And there are those who claim they were seen traveling on the same day, landing in the same region, even if the arrivals were staggered and the exits carefully separate. As always, sources are messy and imperfect. Memories blur. Narratives get embellished. And yet, if you lay the breadcrumbs side by side, a picture begins to draw itself. The sense is that what began as a rumor matured into something many people now interpret as a near certainty, not because anyone delivered a formal statement, but because the evidence, intentional or not, stacked up. It didn't feel like a scandal splashed in neon across headlines. It felt like a secret guarded as long as possible, under the pressure of cameras and curiosity, until it became too heavy to keep hidden. Let's be honest about why this story hits differently. Barış and Elçin are beloved as artists. They're admired individually and as a duo who once made fictional romance look easy. When life seems to echo art, people lean in. It's not just about who's with whom, it's about a connection that audiences felt invested in long before any whispers started. And yet, the line between admiration and intrusion is thin. When we analyze a glance, a reflection in a window, a pair of matching sneakers, are we crossing that line? Or are we merely playing our part in the endless dance between public figures and public attention? That tension is at the heart of this conversation. Because the sudden heat around them didn't appear without cost. The clearer the clues seemed, the louder the noise became. You know how it goes. A fan page publishes a theory, which picks up speed. Someone posts a thread cataloging similarities between photos. An account claims to have waited outside a venue and seen what others missed. A friend of a friend allegedly lets a detail slip. It doesn't take long before an unspoken understanding becomes, in many minds, a confirmation. Not official, perhaps, but emotionally convincing. The feeling that if you look long enough, the truth is there in plain sight. Yet there's a responsibility to be careful. Information in the entertainment world is slippery. Photos can mislead, quotes can be incomplete, and context can be lost. Even so, what makes this particular story compelling is how consistent the signs have been over time. We're not talking about a single photograph or a single interview. We're talking about a rhythm, proximity that repeats, parallels that accumulate, a comfort that reads more intimate than nostalgic. And behind that rhythm you can imagine the very human decisions being made. How do you protect something fragile when every move is observed? How do you honor your own privacy while knowing that silence often fuels more speculation? If the whispers are right, for Barış and Elçin, this discovery changes the ground beneath their feet. It could mean breathing easier in public spaces, sharing a coffee without calculating every exit, laughing without scanning the room for lenses. Or it could mean the opposite, more pressure, more scrutiny, more commentary dissecting what should belong to two people. Fan reactions are famously unpredictable. Many will feel happy, content to believe that a bond they cheered on screen has found real life. Others will raise eyebrows, worry about professional consequences, or look for motives where there are none. The reality is that both responses can be true at once, echoing the complicated bond between stars and their audience. Let's circle back to the origin of this reveal. Was it a leak? A soft launch? An accidental alignment of details that tipped the scales? Some say the first spark was a candid shot from a small restaurant along the Bosphorus, a quick frame taken from outside, the camera pressing against the foggy glass, catching two figures leaning in across a table. Others swear the crucial moment was a behind-the-scenes story uploaded and deleted, in which a playful exchange slipped past a careful edit. And there's the camp that insists the tell was simpler, a shared look at an awards ceremony that needed no commentary at all. The magic of a moment that registered the same way with thousands of viewers at once. Whatever the origin, the aftermath is unmistakable. The phrases linked to their names surged to the top of online chatter. Comment sections filled with congratulations, disbelief, debates about timing, loyalty, and authenticity. Clips from old interviews resurfaced as if to say, "We should have seen it." Edits stitched together years of micro-moments and framed them as fate. The effect was immediate and intense, a collective reminder that in the world of fame, the audience is not a passive witness, it's a participant in the narrative. Behind that narrative, however, are people. It's easy to forget the human texture of all this. Keeping a bond private in a world like this requires discipline and trust. Separate arrivals and departures. Codes for where to meet and how to move. A compact team that knows how to close ranks. The humility to say no when the world asks for more than you want to give. If you have ever tried to guard a piece of your life from prying eyes, you know how exhausting that can be, and that's without the long lenses and the endless appetite for proof. So what now? Will we see Barış and Elçin take a step into the light together? A joint interview where they steer their own story, set boundaries, and let the noise die down? Or will they keep doing what they've been doing, sharing only what they choose, when they choose, and allowing mystery to be part of their protection? Either path is believable. Either path is understandable. There's an art to navigating the space between public love and private care. Once the curtain lifts even an inch, the temptation is to either open the window or barricade it for good. What is undeniable is that this moment adds another chapter to how we see them. They're no longer only the artists we've watched evolve, but the center of a narrative that blends memory, fantasy, and reality. In the grand theater of show business, that overlap is not a bug, it's a feature. We've seen it over and over, rumors ferment, hints turn to patterns, private decisions become public conversation. The story of Barış and Elçin fits squarely into that tradition, while still feeling uniquely theirs. And there's a deeper conversation in all of this, one we always circle back to. When we search for the truth behind the spotlight, what do we actually want? Do we seek validation for what we've long suspected? Are we hoping for a love story because the world feels lighter when we believe in them? Or are we actually craving closeness to the people whose work has made us feel seen? The answer might be all of the above. But baked into that is a responsibility to respect the people at the center of the story, to care about their comfort as much as we care about our curiosity. For those wondering about the timeline, the most consistent thread is that this didn't develop overnight. If what we've been seeing is what it seems, their connection likely grew over time, nurtured quietly. Meetings away from the obvious places. Conversations that don't need an audience. The kind of trust that doesn't need to prove itself to anyone else. That's why, when something finally slipped into public view, it felt less like a shock and more like recognition. Not a revelation as much as an unveiling. If there's a lesson here for fans and followers, it might be this: we often feel closer to the truth than we actually are. We read signals. We overlay our wishes. We turn coincidences into evidence. And yet, sometimes, we're right. Not because we're clever, but because human connections have a way of announcing themselves, softly at first, then with a braver voice. Perhaps that is what's happened here. Perhaps what began as a whisper has become something the world can hear, even if the people involved haven't formally said the words aloud. The heart doesn't always need a press release. So, to gather the threads, we traced the rumors that refused to die, the parallel clues that lined up like stars, and the moment that many read as confirmation. We looked at the surge of reactions, the debates about privacy and consent, and the fork in the road that now lies ahead for Barış and Elçin. Whatever comes next, a red carpet appearance side by side, a carefully chosen interview, or a continued preference for quiet, will be their decision. And perhaps that is the most hopeful part of this entire narrative. That two artists who have given so much can still decide how to hold the parts of life that matter most. Thank you for staying with us through this deep dive. We truly appreciate the time you spend here and the thoughtful energy you bring to these conversations. Tell us what you think. Did you sense the shift before the tide turned? Do you believe the signals add up, or do you prefer to wait for words from them directly? The comments are open, and we read them closely because your perspective shapes what we explore next. If this story resonated with you, tap like, share it with the friends who never miss a beat, and make sure you're subscribed to Turkish Spotlight Secrets so you won't miss the next chapter as it unfolds. Until then, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.